The next chapter in the terrifying Michael Myers tale, which has spanned decades and various timelines, Halloween Ends, has now been made public for one final night of dread. The main uncertainty before the movie was whether or not he would actually be put to death this time. In earlier guises, the notorious murderer in a mask has survived being shot, stabbed, blown up, and even beheaded with just minor injuries. With a title that included the word ending, there was the impression that he would actually be gone permanently this time, if it wasn't already abundantly evident, was regarding whether or not this actually occurs in the end. So, if you haven't watched the movie yet, either come back once you have, or get ready for all the climactic mayhem of this final episode. First, some background information on the current state of affairs before this new movie. In the last misfire of a movie, Halloween Kills, it was promised that evil will die tonight. However, Michael had fled, leaving everyone in the little hamlet of Haddonfield terrified that he was constantly lurking in the shadows. After being assaulted by him decades before, Laurie Strode had waited years for his return, but she spent the most of the previous movie in a hospital while Michael wandered the streets. In the last seconds of the movie, he ended up killing her daughter Karen violently. Now that Karen and Laurie are attempting to create a new life free of fear, Laurie has taken on the burden of parenting Karen's daughter Allison. Of course, that won't last very long because this is a Halloween movie. Not Michael, but a new character to the series is essential to this. The movie begins with Corey, who is going to babysit for a local family exactly like Laurie did all those years ago, a year after the events in Halloween Kills. However, Corey accidentally murders the little child who he is supposed to be watching rather than Michael entering the scene. The incident is horrific, and as the movie cuts to 4 years after Halloween Kills, we witness how it irrevocably changed everyone involved's life. As we learn from Corey, since Michael is nowhere to be found, he has been turned into a scapegoat for the neighborhood and a new boogeyman. His friendship with her granddaughter develops as Laurie steps in to aid him after he was bullied by neighborhood teenagers. This is the main focus of the movie for a time before Corey discovers something important. He and the other characters are now on a collision path that will result in mayhem. The same adolescents from previously throw Corey from a bridge, and Michael personally drags him into a tunnel beneath the earth. He appears to have been hidden there for a long time and has become more reclusive. When the two look at one another, a succession of horrific flashbacks from the past appear as if they had developed a psychic connection. As a result, Corey starts to take on a new personality and begins killing those who have mistreated him. Together, he and Michael appear to give the old boogeyman fresh life. Eventually, Laurie begins to realize what is going on and makes an effort to separate her granddaughter from Corey, who wants to flee with her. Allison simply wants to live her own life and rejects any attempts to restrict her, therefore her cries go unnoticed. Corey then breaks free from Michael, after which he steals his mask and goes on a rampage across Haddonfield. Then he makes it to Laurie's house. She deceives him before shooting him. To make it appear as though she had killed him, Corey stabs himself in the neck. Allison enters at that same time and is terrified by what she sees. The real Michael enters the house as she leaves Laurie alone once more. Michael is trapped after the two engage in a fight to the death. Laurie had pulled the refrigerator down on him and used a knife to pin each of his hands to the kitchen table. Michael then makes a final lunge at her as she continues to knife into him to make sure he is dead. His hand gets torn in the process, but Laurie is still in his grasp. Then Allison leaps back in to assist her grandma, who is still cutting away and making sure Michael is dead. This is the point in the climax that things start to go truly crazy and outrageous in the greatest possible unexpected way. When the cops show there, Laurie and Allison arrange a car procession and drive around the town while Michael is tied to the top of their vehicle in a horrifyingly funny holiday parade. As they continue on their journey to the neighborhood scrapyard, more individuals join them in an effort to catch the murderer once and for all. The notion that Michael, even while away, had generated such terror in the neighborhood that death was essentially omnipresent was woven throughout the narrative. In order to ultimately get rid of him, the whole community gathers for a ritualistic cleansing that guarantees he won't return. They all show up at the scrapyard with the intention of throwing Michael right into a metal crushing machine, taking no risks. With the crowd watching, Laurie has the distinction of shoving her adversary in while standing up on top of the apparatus. Then, in a spectacularly horrific manner, Michael is entirely destroyed, resulting in the most thorough execution scene in any of the movies to date. In the blink of an eye, he is turned into mush by being grounded. There is no possibility that Michael will be able to walk very soon unless there is a supernatural resurrection. Of course, the story may always be continued with another reset of the chronology or some other plot device. The movies have done it several times before and could undoubtedly do it again. But putting everything else aside for the time being, This finale is actually rather beautiful. On a conceptual level, it puts an end to the still messy questions raised in the last movie regarding how Michael had managed to keep such a tight hold on the neighborhood. Halloween Ends boldly pioneers a method for eliminating the serial murderer at the core of the plot that has never been done in a movie before. It is a suitable conclusion since it is both darkly humorous and therapeutic. The movie finally comes to a satisfying conclusion as Laurie completes the memoir she had been working on and Allison departs from home. The fact that life can now move on after Michael's brazen annihilation proves that everyone has been set free from his reign of terror. In the end, Halloween Ends triumphantly ventured where no other Halloween movie has gone before. Thanks for watching.